everybody? This is the first episode of Building the Perfect Pedal Board. I'm going to be basically going through all 18 pedals on my board that I've spent years putting together. I've gone through countless pedals. For me and for what I want to do as a guitar player, this is my perfect pedal board. So I'm going to basically each week go through one pedal, talk about it, feature it, and give you guys kind of a general synopsis of not only what I think of the pedal, but how it also pairs with other pedals. I think that's a really key thing. And the first pedal I'm going to be featuring is the Boss TB2W Tone Bender, which is a limited run pedal that Boss did in conjunction with Sound, who are the original makers of the Tone Bender that still make them in limited quantities. Boss set out to make a limited run of 3,000 pedals, and they sourced tons of germanium and spent tons of R&D to make this pedal. And it's phenomenal. They did such a good job. It's super stable. You can throw it on your pedal board and not even worry that it's going to be inconsistent. It sounds the same every time, and it's got some great features as well. They originally sold for around $350, I think. Now they go on reverb anywhere from $600 to $900, depending. If you can find one for $6 or $7, I think they're a great investment. You're never going to lose your money on them. I think they'll go up a bit over time. And ultimately, I think they're the best thing of its kind out there. The sound you can get from this, it's a very unique tonal frequency. It's very much the sound of the late 60s psychedelic era. It's one of the first pedals that could ever even make sounds like that, but it's got its own thing going on. You'll hear it on early Stones, you'll hear it on early Zeppelin even. A lot of those, 66 to 69, that era is when that pedal started to really come in, and you'll recognize its tonal frequency right away. A lot of times it was paired with reverb, and it's that kind of classic early psychedelic lead sound. So I'm going to show you guys what it sounds like by itself, and then also how it pairs, because I honestly think one of the secrets of this pedal is pairing it with one other pedal depending on what sound you're going for. So this is my clean tone. So very basic. I'm going to kick on the pedal now, and I'm just going to show you what it sounds like just with some really basic lead. So it's a really just basic sound, but it's a unique frequency spectrum. Nothing really sounds like a tone bender. Now, I'm going to show you what it sounds like with reverb, because I think that's the classic sound. I think a tone bender, back then with either a spring reverb or a plate reverb or, any combo amp that had a reverb in it, that's kind of what the gist of the sound was back then, and you'll recognize it right away. So that's a very recognizable sound, So it's just such a classic tone, and it really works for a lot of stuff, especially if you're not trying to solo over a really loud band. I think it really excels in that more nuancy kind of place that a lot of psychedelic is, where it's almost charming you in a way. It's got a very unique element to it in that sense. But I think one of the things that it's best at, there's a lot of secret things you can do with this thing. So if I turn off the reverb, I'm going to show you how it pairs with a Boss synth pedal. The thing about this is other distortions and fuzzes I have, whether they're treble boosters, big muffs, rats, there's so many cool circuits, but some stuff pairs better than others with certain things. Some things have better definition, have better feel in your fingers. This tone bender pedal shockingly pairs up with certain effects really, really well. Better than anything else I have. And this is one of the coolest, is with a Boss synth pedal. get this great definition. You can even when you're bending the string, it's very unique, and no other pedal combination that I've tried can do that with something like this synth pedal. You can get sounds, but there's a lot more chaos going on, and that control and that clarity isn't quite there. So that's what makes this really, really fun, is the pairing aspects of what you can do with it. You can get that classic sound. Now, I like to run the pedal, as you can see on the screen. Both knobs are almost all the way up. I kind of found my sweet spot. Just under being all the way up is where I find I like it. And I like the 7-volt setting. It's also got a 9 and a 12-volt setting, but for me, the 7-volt has that sag and just enough of that warmth that it sounds the most like an old school tone bender to me. So that's my personal preference. But if you get one of these, experiment. You can, roll with however you want to. I'll show you a couple more examples of how it pairs. So also with like pitch shifting, surprisingly quite well. So again, I mean, fantastic. And then you can also hook it with some modulation. It goes really great with phaser. I mean, this is... Again, just a really nice controlled frequency spectrum. So that's great. You can also pair it with some flange, same kind of vibe. And then finally, you can pair it up with some dimension chorus. And I also think it's great for doing some soloing. It's nice and clear with some delay. Even if you take the modulation off, it's just even by itself with just some delay. So again, just a nice clarity and a nice controlled vibe in that frequency spectrum. It's not going too insane. Later on when I show you, other pedals that, like my muff bass circuit or Rat, they're also really awesome, but there's something in the easygoingness / kind of nice spectrum that the tone bender sits in. It's a very controlled, and again, it really excels when you're playing, with a more, I think, clean sound all around you. It's not going to cut through if you're, doing like super hard rock or metal. I think you need something a little bit more intense for that, or you need to add a treble booster to it, which I'll show you how it pairs with treble booster too. So I've got a pretty wild tone boost or treble booster that I've had for a long time. That's actually been on a lot of records I've done. This thing's insane. Now, when it kicks in, it's no joke, but you can hear what it can do to cut through a mix. So it even pairs well with a treble booster. That would be, I think, only if you really, need to give it a little bit more cut if the band's really going. But overall, by itself, whether it's in the studio or in a band setting, I think you can really do a lot with this pedal. So I highly recommend it if you can get one. And like I said, each week I'm going to go through each pedal on my board and talk about it, and then I'll show some other crazy pairings as I go along. So this will be kind of a fun adventure to show you guys all what I have discovered with my pedal board journey. So rock on, man. See you guys soon.